Hey, welcome back to Blueprints. It is time for more exploration. Also, while editing, I obviously looked at a lot of the things, as always, so since it's like a new recording session for me, I'm going to put like something on the screen here. This is currently like my notes when it comes to all of the painting differences. Some of these letters are marked with like a question mark because I'm just guessing here. But after last time, I like kind of realized that the rain cloud and the weed that I was looking at was probably something like grain and rain, so I'm getting a G there. And I'm getting a weird sentence. Like, this is just a complete guess at this point. I don't know if that even has any meaning. I get if we paint small gates, write dates, crack 8 safes. That doesn't even make any sense, but this is like the closest thing to a sentence I currently get. Maybe it's correct. I would be surprised if it were that. I don't even know what kind of gates were painted, right? Like, this is like my big issue here. The beginning doesn't make any sense. That dates open safes might make sense, and that there are 8 safes is like kind of where I have like the number 8 for some reason. I've actually looked into my list. I think I only know about like 4 safes. Maybe 5. So yeah, so maybe some of the dates are like really important. Anyway, as always, we're going to just start. Amateur lockpick kit. Also, talking about the lockpick kit, is first of all really nice that we are getting this one. But I also kind of compared like the list. Like, we have one of the, what's it called? Like, one of the Architectural Digest magazines. They kind of talked about the different contraptions we can make, and in those contraptions, they're like they kind of had like a list of all of the items you can use, and one of them was like question marked out, which is going to be the lucky rabbit's foot, because we already figured out what we can make with that one. And that also just means that there are only a few items left that we can even try. Actually, I have like a list on my second monitor. I'm gonna have to open that in a moment, but let's first of all focus on like this thing. So here's the thing. One of my goals obviously is going to be to do like the whole classroom bit. I can't do that today, so I have like a few other things I can go after, and it's probably going to be easier if I use the tool shed. That's like my theory. Oh, a wrench, an adjustable gear wrench. Each time you draft a mechanical flop, and you may permanently adjust its rarity. Have we seen that item? Like in one of the books? I don't remember. Like, the watering can is like nothing new, but like that one, that's the first time. Adjusting rarity is actually really nice. Let's see what we can do with that today. Ooh, yeah, the cannon. I completely forgot about that almost. I want to look at the... Okay, so I had like a theory about the cannon last time, that this one was connected to the car and the cart, which is why there was like a cat like this. Apparently not connected at all, because obviously this would be Bridge and Bride, so we would have like a completely different text in here. I don't know what this note is about then. But first of all, can I not pet you? You want pets today? Aww, they change that every day. Aww. 2 dogs. It's even random how many dogs. Amazing. Best game. 11 out of 10. You're just still sitting here though. Oh. Okay, I have a wrench and I also have the utility closet here. Let's try out what that even means. It's a standard. I want you as commonplace. How do I do that? Okay, I actually have to move my mouse around. Okay, commonplace. Utility closet is amazing. It's a great building, so I'm gonna keep it like that. And like, standard is already great, but like commonplace, having the breaker box is just too good, right? Like disabling the gym and obviously doing the whole card thing is amazing. Same for security, by the way. And while we're here, we should probably set up an experiment in the lab, because obviously we still want all of the letters. Like, my theory currently is, and I almost forgot about it, now I think about it, I'm gonna have to go outside later in this episode. We are always getting hints about like all the passwords and stuff. Like, for example, Swan Song was like the network password. I'm gonna look into the experiment in a second. I'm gonna have to finish my thought here. So the thing I'm thinking of is, obviously we are going to be taught all the different mechanics over time. One of the things that we learned in between is that the person we are getting the letters from, I forgot their name. I have it in my list. It's not important. they set up the password, like the temporary admin password. Maybe there's like one for us and we have not gotten that one yet. And here's a truth about IT, since I've worked like in a similar field for some time. There are some standard passwords, especially for temporary ones. Maybe we can use the same pattern to try our name. Maybe this is going to be a temporary password that we can use. I'm going to experiment with that one later if I have like the steps. Otherwise, I'm going to do that in the next day. But first, let's look at this one. Spread dirt on the driveway isn't actually too bad because we've already gotten the shovel, and I'm actually hoping to get the battery as well as the workshop to actually get like the better, was it the jackhammer? What else can we do? Security doors, archive floor plan. I wanna say security door and spread dirt. We could also... Nah, that sounds actually kind of fun. Let's dig up the driveway. So since I needed to walk around anyway, I thought about this. Let's try this. We have learned about the pattern, so let's try our own name. So our last name is obviously Jones. The first 4 letters of that would be Joan, and then our first name, that one also capitalized. So Jones again, but like this. I had to try. Okay, maybe. Okay, I just had to try, like our name and the capitalization. Just keep it like that. I guess the temporary password doesn't work like that. I am still way too confused about this. We are going to learn about this soon, hopefully. Did I get the book? Maybe it's actually this one that I want to land, like the Myth of the Black Bridge or whatever it was called. Let's see once we find the library. Battery, how nice. Now I only need one last piece of the puzzle. Actually, garage here, it's not the best one, but I actually don't mind getting it here because we also got the car keys, and it's been so long since I opened this one. Also, we can technically open the door. I just like doing that. How nice. And this one. Ooh, treasure map. That could be interesting. Wait, we are only getting money from this one, right? Let's see, is it actually in a place we can reach? That's almost here. It's actually one rank above us. We can reach that one at least. And we have a shovel, which is nice. We have like so many items this time around. I got both the closet and the attic. So that's just generally impressive. Now the question is, if I power this, could I technically take a car? Because I don't think I could. I'm just confused why I can power this room. Because like, this is kind of connected, but I'm guessing it's just like to this box. It doesn't actually matter whether we are using the boiler or this one. This reminds me actually, there's like one thing that we still have to do with the boiler. Now that I'm thinking about it, in the underground there's a door that has like one of these boiler mechanisms. I don't know how we would power that one, but it would probably be useful to have the boiler somewhere in the estate. Huh? I just used the silver key here. And I did not get... Huh? That's so weird. That's the first time this happened. And it's time for today's parlor game. Let's see if I can solve it. Would be surprising if not. Only one statement is true. So assuming that this is true, then it would be the only true statement and the other one would be lies. Because obviously there can only be either one or two such statements. And if this is false, then obviously the other two are both true. The gems are in the blue box. The gems are the only true box. Okay, this is interesting. They can't be true at the same time. Wait a second. This is the only true statement. This is actually a conundrum. Wait. This is the only true statement. So assume that this is true. So the other two would be false automatically. The gems are in the blue box, so they would not be in the blue box. And the gems are in the only true box, which would also be false. Okay, so if those two are false, so it would be in a false box, which means it would be either in the black one or the blue one. But because the black one also tells us that it's in the blue one, and this one is false, it would be in the black one. Okay, this is if this is a true statement. Assume that this is false. This is the only true statement. Because obviously, like only one statement is true implies that it has to be true itself. Because if it were false and another one were the only true one, then this would be a a conundrum in there that doesn't actually work. So assume like it's paradox, right? So assume that this is false. So there are two true statements. So those two would be true. Then I would say the gems are in the only true box, which implies that there's still only one true box. There have to be two though, because otherwise this one can't be true as well, right? Like false, right? That's like kind of the issue. If you are telling me that there's only one true box and you're telling me that there's only one true box and this is the only true one, right? This is like all a paradox. It doesn't work. There are just some conflicts in there that can't be resolved. So let's repeat this one. Jumps in the blue box. The blue box says that's one. Because those are both false, it has to be in here. Yep, and it was. I just hope that this explanation made sense. I'm gonna try to go into more detail in the parlor since I'm skipping so much of the run anyway. And the library, and we actually borrowed a book, and this is The Curse of Blackbridge, by Redford Ooling. And obviously, we are the first to borrow this one. Okay, this book seems to be rather long, so let's give it a try. Forward. The legend of Blackbridge is one that's well known to the people of the Grand Realm. For versions of this tale have been passed down from generation to generation. With each new telling, the story has changed, becoming over the years more colorful, more verbose, and, as one might expect, increasingly horrifying. However, with so many renditions and unique personal touches, the task of confining and binding this tale to text seemed an ambitious and impossible challenge. Over the course of my research, I have heard dozens of variations of the legend, and while the details would often change, I was surprised how much of the story's heart remained the same. Yet, the more I listened, the clearer it became that there could never be the definite version of this tale capable of capturing all the wonder and myth of Blackbridge. In the end, I chose to write down what felt most authentic, the story my grandmother told me as a boy long ago. So the most important thing that I kind of want to figure out using this book is kind of, why do we have a Blackbridge grotto? How is this related? Why is this story so important? And obviously maybe there's like something that could be used as a password, right? Like Swan Song obviously being hinted at like at multiple places in the estate kind of implies that the passwords might not be too secure, let's call it that. Part 1. We also have like the holly here, right? The berry picker from Aurus. Isn't there like a... There in the shrine, we can get the blessing of the berry picker, right? So I'm guessing this is kind of also connected to that one, right? Like, this is probably going to be a story about, picking at random. I don't know if that's somehow connected. I'm guessing it's somewhat. I feel like this would be such a great play. Many years ago, before peace had become a familiar word, there lived a group of rogues, so wayward that the locals deemed it appropriate to call their number the Unholy Hounds. They were feral outlaws composed of society's worst at the time when society was at its worst. And for each crime that fearful travelers credited to the group, a dozen more lay unclaimed, each worse than the last. For the gentry, however, who often value their coffers more than their companions, no crime could measure more wicked than the group's primary enterprise, high road robbery. One such member of this so-called band of rogues was a boy of 13 years, Jasper, who had not been lucky in life, having lost 2 brothers to war and parents to famine. In the years of hunger that followed, Jasper lived in a gutter behind a churchyard, relying on the nourishment of scurrying bugs and weeds harvested from the cracks of the alleyway to sustain his pitiful existence. It is not surprising that a child aiming to escape such hardships would take any easy road out. An easy and well-traveled road, paved with temptations, leading out of the city and into the gentry lands, where loose purse strings entwine with the strands of salvation and glisten equally with the hope of opportunity. It was this road that eventually led Jasper to the end of his youth, a hidden cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. It was here that he met his surrogate family and saviors, that notorious gang of godless outlaws known as the Unholy Hounds. Despite the hardened circumstances that led him to this vocation of banditry, Jasper was surprisingly tender-hearted and was often teased by the group for being too kind for such an ignoble life. For this reason, Jasper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just innocence that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of night's concealment. Jasper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he alone worked while the others slept soundly, tucked away in the cave at the bottom of Black Ridge Canyon. On one such occasion, Jasper decided to get an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, and set out into the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the mornings, but the headway dawn afforded meant Jasper could reach the furthermost berry patches without worrying of being chastised for tarrying upon his return. It took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination, and along the way Jasper had passed by many familiar bush, all priorly pillaged and so bereft of berries that one would have to dedicate several moments in earnest examinations before finding a single one. Jasper was patient, but even patience has its limits. He was confident that even accounting for the time lost to this long stretch of travel, his efforts would be well worth the pains. Surveying the patches in this new grove surprised even Jasper. The red dots suspended among the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the skies. Upon seeing a boundless sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and nearly toppled over out of joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jasper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of his confederates, who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jasper set off to fill his basket and was making steady strides in this task when the sound of thundering hoofs interrupted him. So, probably not as wild of a berry as he had thought. A carriage is approaching. The thought of it made Jasper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by this discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept towards the impeding sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. It was only a moment before the sound's source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jasper hid, an elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring around the corner of trees. Led by 2 beautiful white horses and conveyed by a stern-looking driver seated atop the vehicle. Flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jasper had ever seen, it was not just any carriage, it was a royal carriage. Even without ever having witnessed such a sight before, Jasper was certain. The sight had so transfixed Jasper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment that the bush provided was soon proven unequal to the driver's lofty perch, and upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such heft that the noble steed slid to a sudden halt with precise control. "You boy, get out from behind that bush!" he shouted with a rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear. "You startled me half to death, coming around the bend of my own drive, and me seeing such an unfamiliar face in a place where there ought not be any face." Jasper quickly contemplating running. The man was much older, and his dress was suitable for courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud. I was picking berries." Jasper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see the proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was change that Jasper was familiar with. He had many times seen the same stern expression on the most fiendish bandits melt away when he presented the berry basket. Any suspicion that the driver might have had instantly evaporated, for even the notion of a member of the unholy hounds picking berries seemed farcical. The softened expression even made allowances for a smile. "Berries, eh? Say, you couldn't have picked a better spot for them, could you? I used to pick berries here as a boy." Jasper took this cue to finally step forward out from behind the bush, proudly brandishing his basket. "I know, and what luck I found them. I have only just begun picking, and look how many I've had. It would have taken me fourfold the time back home to procure this number. The driver bent down for a closer look. And where is your home, boy? It must be quite far. Jasper replied with a scripted response. A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burnt woods. My God, that is far. You couldn't have come all this way, only this morning. It was true, Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jasper had traveled, and while the response would seem perfectly reasonable in a location closer to Blackbridge Canyon, he could see why it might seem less believable here. Sir, I've traveled much further for much less profit. I dare say there's no distance yet made by man that would not be worth undertaking for a price such as these. Surely, you have tasted them for yourself. Jasper felt happier with his response, as it seemed to amplify this man's smile. Ah, in my youth often, but perhaps I took it for granted, because I never had to travel very far. And even then, my father would always drive us here in our carriage, so I'm ashamed I never had to walk such a stretch to earn an equal reward. It was Jasper's time to smile. Then let my efforts reward us both today. He raised the basket even higher. A taste in memory of your youth, sir. The driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket. And at the moment his finger touched the first berry, the dagger in turn met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jasper caught the man's startled eyes. And for that taste, I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my youth. The driver's arm had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling, more frightened than he had ever been before. Whether unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think his jaw could afford to be engaged at this particular time. Jasper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets. Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me no cause. Though I will admit, the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you the indignity of walking appeals to me. Unable to find a purse in the man's coat, Jasper pivoted to search the seat under him. Why have you no purse upon your person? The driver slowly raised his hand cautiously, pointing towards the carriage door behind him. Jasper lowered the knife's edge a small degree to allow the man to speak, which he did in turn softly. There's a lockbox in the carriage. Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands. A concession, I assure you, of my tender heart, for it would be much easier to slit your throat. The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seat of the carriage. Once down, Jasper guided him away from the carriage to a nearby tree, where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hand behind his back. Excusing his inexperience, the man indulged Jasper, where he figured out how to adequately bind him. The smile and kindness Jasper had seen on this man's face, now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold, dark eyes displaying no emotion. I wonder, should I grant you the same clemency you are showing me? Jasper stopped, surprised by the question, but ignored it, secured the final bindings, and then hastily returned to the carriage. With one hand on the door's handle, he turned back to the man. If there's no lockbox, there will be no clemency. Inside, the carriage was surprisingly dusty and unswept, a stark contrast to the elegant and polished golden facade of the exterior. It had apparently been many years since a passenger had enjoyed passage in this vehicle. Okay, I know I'm like in the middle of reading here. I'm sorry about that, but like I'm thinking cursed locker maybe? Like the cover that we have like in the shrine might be related, right? Like I feel like all of the books obviously are related to like what we're doing here. It would be kind of weird to just include like unrelated stories. But this is like my theory currently, like not having read the second half of the book, but, and I mean it, like second half of the book, this book is long, might just be like one run today. But yeah, it's quite something. This all but confirmed what Jasper had suspected. The driver of this carriage was not a liveried servant of the employ of some greater master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested under the carriage backseat, a large wooden lockbox. Despite its hefty appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jasper had dislodged it from its hold and carried it out into the sunlight. Inspecting the box carefully, 2 observations were made. Totemic symbols found carved on all 4 sides of the box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by Ordinian hands. Or Orindian, not Ordinian. For some reason I always mix those 2 letters. It reminded him of artifacts from the old world and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient realms. Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and would not easily open without a key. Jasper looked over to see the driver quietly observe it from his indentured position. "Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me to open this box?" Without emotion, the driver replied, "There is no key to that box." Jasper stood up. "Easy enough then." And yeah, that kind of reminds me, right? Like there should be 3 symbols on top. I didn't pay attention to like the sides, but the curse cover looks similar. So that might be actually a massive, puzzle later on. He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimension and lifted the stone up, carrying it back to the box. If there was ever a time when that lock had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. He bent down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure, chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jasper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised by how heavy it seemed, given how light the box had felt. Having experienced to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. The driver's smile had once again returned. "You're cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should never have been opened, and you are cursed." Jasper carried the effigy over to the man and shoved it in front of his face. "What is this?" "That's one." Feeling his disappointment rising to anger now, Jasper tightened his grip on the effigy. "One what, you mumbling agentor? And in God's name, why have you no purse upon your person?" The man did not seem intimidated. "1 pace." He paused for effect. 12 more, and you will be dead." He only had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his cryptic ramblings. If there was ever a time when the old man had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. I mean, I do like the parallel in that text. Jasper looked down at this sculpted stone figure, now splattered red. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had, of course, heard stories of curses and had never doubted their validity in the past, but now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. And if he was cursed, what difference would the knowledge make? A dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul, to say nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy. If he did not move from where he now stood, he could live maybe another 3 to 4 days, maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries. A plan that, if we ignore this obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do to be discovered here? Besides a body, stolen goods in hand, bloated from berries and ravaging about a curse that could very well not be real. No, it would most certainly be better to face one's fate now, take a dozen paces and see if life goes on. But Jasper found his legs unable to make it the first step. His mind was unable to convince his limbs to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, he hopelessly looked about him for a solution. And if, by some stroke of luck, the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him, as if he found himself suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. 2 white horses and a carriage of golden trim were beside him, the answer to his immediate prayers. He laughed at his fortune and calculated a short number of paces back to the road. 4. Perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. He thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as that appeared to be of some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a great task too great to chance. And so, after profound breath, he took his second, third, and fourth steps, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized that he was still gripping the effigy. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made of the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox, whose typical function often secures objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horrors of destitution, Jasper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand let go. If it is cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow. And if I die, what care have I? And with that statement said aloud, to the horses seemingly, Jasper took up the reins with confidence. And yeah, this definitely reminds me of the curse coffer, so maybe we can open it, but like 12 steps, what would I do with like 12 steps? I feel like there should be like a reason for that, right? I mean, we could reach room 46 curse, but I don't know why we would want to do that. That seems like kind of an end. And does that mean we have like this massive door in the Blackbridge Grotto? Maybe there's actually a key for that coffer and it's behind there? So we still need like 2 of the 3 pieces. Like there's still a piece, like 2 pieces missing, and I have like no idea where I would get those. So that's kind of important. They could also be in a curved coffer, right? Like this could also be like kind of a troll in that sense. Miller awoke to some light nudging from a familiar foot. Only one person would have the cheek to awaken her in such ill-mannered fashion. Shaking the sleep from her eyes, she glared up at him in the darkness, but did not say a word. He nudged her again, teasingly, then stepped back into the dim. After taking a moment for her eyes to adjust to the darkness of the cave, Miller remembered. She was on third watch today. Quietly collecting her things and wits, Miller turned as she left, waving to a young friend who was more than likely already asleep. She crept through the cavern's main passage, careful to not wake the sleeping bandits around her. Like a hero in a book, she often mused. Quietly, she grabbed a bow from the haphazardly formed pile of weapons, shaking the accompanying quiver in the darkness to assess how many arrows it held. She then walked towards the sun-drenched mouth of the cavern, ready to start her shift. Above her, in one of the few trees found in the canyon, Miller could see that Ravia was already posted. She waved and Ravia waved back. Calling out to each other was strictly forbidden. Anything louder than a gesture in the canyon was forbidden. When Miller reached the tree, Ravia lowered a braided rope and pointed to the ground behind her. Miller turned, following the finger, and saw a pail of water resting beside a nearby log. She turned back to Ravia, nodded and secured the pail to the rope. The pail went up first, and in turn Miller followed. Ravia reached across to grab the water. Miller leaned back to give her space. There was not much room for maneuvering in the tree post, a necessary concession for the concealment the outpost demanded. Ravia tilted the pail up to her mouth dramatically, illustrating how thirsty she had been. Miller laughed silently as water poured out, splashing into Ravia's face. It was a bit too daring and noisy of a joke, and had the others been around, they would have certainly been scolded for the unwarranted sound. But Miller appreciated the efforts Ravia took to verbalize the silence of the morning. They had been on the third watch together for over a month, and during that speechless time their friendship had grown into something special. Affection was unsurprisingly scarce among the unholy hounds. She had felt camaraderie before, of course, but intimacy, never. From their elevated vantage, the girls could see both the concealed entrance of the cavern as well as a clear view of the bridge that spanned across the canyon. Black Bridge was the link between the Gantry lands and the northern mountains, the overpass that connected Orust and Reddington. So it's actually like nearby, okay. Could that be like the original cave then? That they hid in? Right, like, again, we have like the grotto, right? And we do kind of have a ravine next to us. So maybe they have a... Have we seen a bridge? Not really, right? There isn't really a bridge around here that I've seen, even looking down. So it's probably just like nearby, but like not here. To the city-faring travelers of the realm, the bridge was an unavoidable crossing. In the day, the task was to ensure that travelers pass by without stopping. At night, the task was to ensure that they do. Like most of their band, Miller preferred the night. The biting glare of the sun might be tolerable to farmhands and bricklayers, but to a cavern house bandit it was a source of constant annoyance. In the day, there was no shroud to conceal her expressions, nor to hide her thoughts. She felt exposed. Ravia touched her elbow and pointed up. Miller, striving to suppress a buttle smile, subtly shook her head in response. There were many signs that the unholy hounds used in lieu of words, but the two of them had developed an extended vocabulary. Gestures quietly forged in the shared solitude of the month among the branches. She watched as Ravia shifted, placing her palms flat on the floorboards beneath them. Miller knew what she was trying to say, but shook her head a second time. It was often more fun to pretend not to understand. Ravia rolled her eyes and turned away, looking back to the canyon, squinting through the leaves. The two girls held still, watching and listening. It was not long until Miller, too, heard the sounds of approach. Ravia held up two bent fingers, and a few moments later 2 men emerged from the bridge's southern end. They were dressed in a familiar uniform. Long grey coats with black facings, white waistcoats, and black tricorn hats. They belonged to the local patrol, the Blackguard. Although not an everyday occurrence, their presence at Blackbridge wasn't an unusual sight. It typically indicated an important traveler's impending passage across the bridge, information that the girls would promptly relay to their leaders as soon as the coast was clear. But this report, while exciting, was rarely acted upon. In Miller's 5 years in the Unholy Hounds, she had never once seen a carriage taken in open daylight when the Blackguard was nearby. The men had nearly reached the bridge's north end when Miller heard the horses, faintly at first, but growing louder with each passing moment. Ravia's eyes met Miller's, the same concern mirrored in each other's expression. This did not sound like the typical carriage, cautiously approaching the bridge to cross. Instead of the familiar crunch of the high road's gravel, they heard the harsh clattering of hoofbeats against stone. Both girls quickly redirected their attention downwards, looking through the foliage. The sounds were not coming from the high road, but from the canyon itself. The horses were coming from below the bridge. In an instant, Miller had nocked an arrow and drawn her bow. Go! Ravia was gone before the whisper had even left Miller's mouth. The young scout was already sliding down the bank below, racing towards the cave. There was no road that ran below the canyon. There was no reason for numerous horses to be approaching their cave. There was only one reasonable conclusion, and both girls had reached it instantly. The base had been compromised. This was a Blackguard attack. The moment the horses came into view, Miller let loose her first arrow. She was surprised to see a carriage. She had expected cavalry. Before she even finished processing that thought, her second arrow was in the air. Without a trail, it would be unthinkable for a carriage to traverse such rough terrain. Yet she watched as the wheels jolted over the rocky riverbed. A third arrow was now in flight, and there would be no need for a fourth. The driver slumped over just moments before the vehicle dipped into a small ditch, slamming into an embankment. The force of the sudden halt immediately shattered the front 2 wheels and catapulted the driver from his seat. Utterly confused, Miller quickly glanced over her shoulder to see if any horses were also approaching from the rear. Down in the canyon, the entire horde of the unholy hounds came spilling forth from the earth as if hell itself had suddenly sprung open. The group seemed even more bewildered than Miller, half asleep and tripping over one another in a desperate attempt to engage an unseen enemy in combat. Miller could see Ravia among their number, the only one looking up at her. Her expression was chilling. There would be no need for a silent gesture to convey what they both now realized. They had made a mistake. The gang's chieftain, Jeffrey Heartslasher, led the others, cautiously approaching the crashed carriage like a suspicious fox would near a baited trap. There were no words exchanged as the group crept forward in customary silence. A dozen or so paces in front of the wreckage lay the far-flung driver, an arrow protruding from his broken body, and beside him a blood-stained effigy carved from stone. And we have the dozen paces again. I mean, maybe he got the step out or two to actually get the 12 in there. Miller was inconsolable. Jasper had always been her favorite. He had always shadowed her in the night, clinging to her hams of her every move, the way a child tails behind an older sibling. Tender-hearted, she had always called him, though deep down she had known that wasn't quite true. His appearance of gentleness concealed a raw, resilient durability that emerged in the most perilous of situations. He had been a flower among the nettles of the cave, but he still had thorns, honed by a grim past and 100 hands of misfortune. They buried him in the darkness, in the back of one of the larger cavern rooms. He was interred with a berry basket and a silk handkerchief that he had treasured. The mysterious effigy they had found beside him served as a distinguished gravestone, a marker that stood out as someone special among the rows of similar swords marking neighboring plots. No one spoke, not even whispers. There was nothing to say. Oh, we have the Rinda symbol over here again. I feel like I need to go back here and look at the pictures using a magnifying glass later on. Hope that I can get that. I have all the items already. Like, have you seen my inventory? Miller awoke the next day to a thunderous shaking and rattling of the earth, a far cry from the playful nudging of the previous day. She strained to adjust her eyes, but the choking string of stirred-up dust caused her to flinch. Panic was also in the air. The sounds of scurried footsteps and clattering feet filled the space around her, but even in alarm, the silence was louder. What was it that sounded so strange? Miller closed her eyes tight and used her feet to guide her along the passage. The whispers around her were getting louder, and intense voices could be heard ahead. Louder speech than she had ever heard spoken in the canyon. A growing dread grew as Miller approached the mouth of the cave, her eyes now open wide, despite the dust. Shouldn't it be day? Miller felt a hand in the darkness, pulling at her. It was Ravia. The two embraced, and Miller did not need to see her to understand. Ravia placed two bent fingers against Miller's cheek, and with that touch against her face, Miller felt the same sinking feeling from the previous day. Two bent fingers confirmed what Miller had suspected. The girls had forgotten to relay one critical piece of information to the others. The two guards on the bridge. An hour or so later, the screams began. Blood-curdling cries of hopeless desperation. Captain Fordick Lee of the Black Guard looked down from the ridge of the canyon to the collapsed entrance of the cave. Ah, he grinned. Now they speak. And this is the end of this gruesome story. Okay. This is an end to the hounds. They were mostly humanized in here, obviously. Right, with like the guards just taking a back seat in here. But I guess this is the end to them, yeah. To be fair, this is something I just thought about. There was the talk about like all the excavation here. Were they excavating those caverns? And then they stopped at some point. Why though? I mean, outside of it being like a historical landmark, kind of makes sense, but it seems to be kind of secret that there were like all the digging going on in the precipice and stuff. And since it's like a similar place, I would assume that this is actually, you know, like very close to here, which is also why we have like those caverns. But have we seen a bridge? I'm gonna have to look outside at some point again. This is kind of where I'm standing right now. I'm not really sure what I make of this. Like, this is definitely a lot of lore connected to us. First of all, the coffer, and also like the Blackbridge Grotto, kind of. That this is probably connected. I'm not sure why entirely. Like, Sinclair doesn't seem like the type of guy who would just keep that secret because of like the treasures they hoarded and they got access to after digging. I feel like, I mean, would he? He doesn't necessarily seem like that, right? Like, he would probably make a puzzle out of it, which he might have actually done, so I'm not really sure. Anyway, this is probably something I'm gonna have to think about when I'm rereading this. But let's see if I can find like a magnifying glass at least. Huh? The greenhouse again? This is so rare to have that one on this side, actually. Okay, here's the thing. I want a drafting studio, but it's in our pool, and it's a lot easier to draft later on. I'm gonna take the greenhouse. Now the question is, do I want to upgrade my... No, I'm gonna take the greenhouse. Okay, here's the reason why I want to upgrade it. I have the battery and the sledgehammer. And I have like very little inventory space left, but still, I want to combine those and make the sledgehammer, because there's like still this wall here. Also, you know, I could probably use the treasure map. That's the next thing. That's like one of the reasons why I put the aquarium before, so I could reach the spot. Time to start digging. Yeah, I agree. Where do I dig? Here. Okay. I want to say it's probably not the same place here. But it's like one of the no, this should probably just be a lot of gold, right? This seems like what the treasure map tends to do. Maybe it's something else? Ooh, one of the lost coffers of Mount Hardy. Maybe those are like the treasures from the hounds? 8 gems. I mean, 8 gems are still decent. And again, I still need a sledgehammer here. Also, I could technically attach the broken lever here, but I don't really care about the antechamber right now. You know, there's actually something I want to try, and that is, I still have the secret garden key. It's like one of the many items I found today. I want to see if I can use that one in the east wing of the estate. I've always used it in the west wing. And before I do that, I also want to get some water here. Yep, refill the can. How nice. Actually works. Wait, why is this special cost bypass? Is it just because I have 3 rooms with gem costs? It could actually be it. I just used the secret passage to get a green room here, and I'm guessing because all of them cost something, I get like the special cost waived in this one. So I'm gonna take the cloister. You know, there's something I've never actually tried. So there's like the talk about like the dates, and I thought, okay, this is kind of weird. This is like a Christmas photo. Could it just be Christmas? Seriously? What the heck? Why did I never think about that? I guess it probably has to do something with the dates then, like the text I've read here to crack the saves. At the right dates, crack 8 saves or something like that, right? But why the gates? What? I have like no idea. Anyway, gem and the second red... Okay, red letter number 4. So much reading today, I could not imagine. Herbert, I was distraught to learn that you have chosen to omit the details of our dear Marian's disappearance from the public record. Okay. It is no surprise to me that the royal court would want this embarrassment kept as quiet as possible, but I am shocked that you have so little regard for your niece that you would play the king's scullion and stoop to kissing the foot that treads upon her memory. She gave up her family, her fortune, and her life, and all you can do is think of your name. Literally giving up her life or giving up her old life? Probably the old life, right? Like probably now as Daniels, right? What was her name? Like the other passport. What is weird, that's here, right? Having never had a family name, nor fortune of my own, I cannot personally condemn you for faltering in your commitment to make the same sacrifice as she did. But for the love of God, do not, by that same display of weakness, clutch your petty assets so tightly that you undermine the cause that she forfeited everything Wait. I misread it. Okay. But for the love of God, do not take that same display of weakness clutch. Oh, wait. I really struggled with the sentence. But for the love of God, do not by that same display of weakness clutch your petty assets so tightly that you undermine the cause that she forfeited everything to further. Our countrymen must be made aware of the price she paid and must be made to see the color of the flag she flew as she rode into the darkness of 100 nights. To deny her story is to deny her life. I wanted to say, like, this is definitely, like, kind of related. I wanted to say that this is probably our dad, right? If through your silence you bless this betrayal, our son Simon, your heir, will inherit a fortune of lies and will spit upon your grave when he learns of your cursed foolishness. Needless to say, we will not be coming for Christmas this year. Daniel. Okay. Now the question is, which exact cause? Like, we've already learned about, like, Mary definitely trying to make her books more political than they end up being. For obvious reason, they're getting censored. We do know about... This was, like, the big thing that I obviously... This was, like, a question I posed, like, in a very few first episodes about, like, where we're standing with the Royalist Party. Because, obviously, being a baron, you are the royalty. So, it does make sense that he would kind of follow those wishes and I guess quietly protest at best. Made to see the color of the flag she flew. Now question is, which color did she flew? Was it the blue one? I mean, blue seems to be really important, like the blueprints kind of situation. Also, second letter here. Nice, we have like so much to read here. I love it. Also, we're getting a gem now every single time we get the boudoir. Okay, this is one of the saves at least. Maybe? Huh. Now the question is, how do I figure out the other saves? Also, there's like one thing that kind of confused me. I used 1225, right? Like to put in the date, which is like the, I guess the American way of doing it. Here's the thing. There are some dates in the estate that are where this is actually flipped, where you first have day and then the month instead of month and then day, which I think is rather interesting. Anyway, let's figure out some more stuff here. Rank 8, the question is, what do I want to do? Probably just money, right? Like the rest still isn't like that interesting. I don't know what I want to do in like one of the corner rooms. So let's just get money. What would I buy though? Is there anything left to buy? I have all the books, I have everything in the gift shop. If I get the, what's it called? The showroom, I could use some money in there. Also talk about expensive rooms, I definitely have to try to get the trophy room finally. Bishop. And we also have the chapel already. I'm gonna get that one when I go back at some point. Okay, we are back into the office. Now the question is, what would be important here? Because, I don't know, is there like any important date here? Wait, let's flip you open again. There's like one I can think of, which is like the date in... Was it 1228 or something like that? Was it 1128? Okay, I'm gonna check my notes real quick. Okay, I can't really find it in my notes right now, but I'm gonna check that one another time. I would be surprised if it actually were the important thing. I could also just imagine that it's connected to this one. The only question is, how is this connected? Like march of the count, I can kind of understand like count, like numbers, and march, like marching, like steps. But like otherwise I have like no idea. That's like the closest thing I could imagine being related to this one. But even then, like what kind of dates would it be? It could also just be like birth dates, but I don't really feel like I have a lot of birth dates. I could try the one on the passport if I find it again, if I get the vault again. But it's like kind of the closest thing that I can imagine right now, because otherwise I'm kind of lost. Right, and they're just talking about the west and east levels, yeah. Okay, we're in the conservatory again. Let's see what we can change. Archives are decent. Locksmith should be... Oh, it's actually unusual. Do I want to buff the locksmith? I rarely use it though, but it's like it's so useful now that I can get the one buff. Like I can always get like 30 coins each run, so it should actually be really nice to have that one more readily available. Archives are also decent. Like I like the archives. They should be, let's say, standard. I don't think I need to get them all the time. And the pantry is probably also fine. There's like still a puzzle in there that I don't quite get. Unless they literally were just talking about like how fruits work. Which would be surprising in my opinion. Because I still have like the list of all the rooms I have to check. Because they were mentioned in a new clue. So I'm gonna do that in just a moment. I just noticed that like one of the rooms on the list is actually offers. So I'm guessing whatever is on this text about like the different books is probably really important. I just can't figure out what it is about. I feel like there's definitely something I need to look at for a long time and just be confused, and that's probably going to solve it at some point. Let's make the workshop commonplace, because it's like really important that I find out what the last few letters mean. At least to me, and it's making this a lot easier. Also, magnifying glass, can I even pick it up? Yeah, I can. Look at all those items, I have so many. Okay, it just shrinks down the inventory here. We have a T here. I feel like I had a T on my list here as well, right? I'm an 8-5 here. I have a T here, so this is at least correct, because I had the plan and the plant. Oh, by the way, it also shows you a T in that field for some reason. That's interesting. I never actually paid attention to that. Anyway, we can build some contraptions. I want to break open the wall in the greenhouse, because I feel like this is kind of important. But before I do that, I have my list of all of the items that I've not used yet. So there was like a list of all the items that, you know, had like a different number of use cases. Like, for example, the shovel was used in 3 different items. And I have like so many items I can just experiment today. Like, for example, we do not need the magnifying glass because that's only used in the lighter. The coin purse and the lucky rabbit's foot are both, which was like the 3 question marks because it's not listed actually, are both used for the lucky coin purse. The lockpick kit is the sound amplifier. The sledgehammer can only be used once, but the compass, the metal detector, and shovel, as well as the battery pack, can be used again. So I want to try out the compass. Battery pack. Electromagnet. Okay, that's interesting. Don't know what I can use with that one. I'm gonna check if I can use anything else. The broken lever and the shovel is the jackhammer. Compass can't. Sledgehammer is obviously a power type. Now the question is, do I want the new item? Or do I want to break open that wall? Anything else, by the way? I can use the shovel to make the dowsing rod. The sledgehammer itself doesn't do anything. Okay, but what's the last item? Like, these running shoes should do nothing, actually, because they're not listed. What's still missing? So, okay, the battery pack used with the compass is the electromagnet. I cannot combine it with anything else because it's already a valid recipe. So, that only leaves the shovel and the metal detector together. Shovel and... I don't have the metal detector. Okay, now the question is, do I want the new item? Electronic. Okay, my theory is if I have that item, I can rotate rooms towards the north or something like that. But I'm gonna take the sledgehammer here. Like, the compass is also easier to get, technically. Like, I feel like, no way, I can't buy it this time around. But if I do this, I probably never have to use the sledgehammer again. The only other way to get like a sledgehammer effect would be to get the Morning Star, was it? I think it was a Morning Star, not a Maul, right? To break open a wall. But that isn't a powered one, so I need this one. But at least we know that we need a compass and the battery to continue. Anyway, let's see what's behind that wall in just a moment. But first I need to open the door to my side here. So there should be a hint in the patio. Occasionally you may discover a small mountain with a shovel. You one way by able to extract the suspicious dig spots. To reach below, but this isn't... I don't think that this is the hint. It wouldn't be, because that's like too obvious. There should be like a small other hint here. That's like important for something. I mean, you can dig here to open the door. But like there should be a clue hidden here. Like, the reason why I'm so confused about this is there's like a hint here, right? And I don't think they are showing anything on here that's like hidden. It can only be seen like this. The reason why I'm thinking that is because like the rest had like a secret message inside of there. And this doesn't seem like extra secret, it just seems like kind of open. Unless I can like break open this wall here somehow, but that would be surprising. Another key, and we still have not got the vault again. We only get the deposit key when I can't get the vault. That's so annoying. And there should be one more item in here. Another key. Wow. The secret garden key fits on the other side as well. Interesting. I assumed it would always be the west garden for some reason. I guess it works like this, but there isn't a suspicious wall. I knew something would be here. I kinda remembered seeing something like it. What's this one about? You're spinning this one? Why do I want to spin that one? Huh? Do you change? That is the moon again, okay, but we've seen the moon before. The moon is like the original one. Why not north? Why is north the one that doesn't work? I kinda expected to like just open like a pathway outside and explore like more of the outside, but what happened in the east? Are you showing me the east lever? Yeah, I can... Oh! I can select which side I want to open like this. But I can't open the north. The north stays locked whatever I do. Can I open multiple like this? Like if I open the south door like this, I could maybe open all of the door, which is so powerful that the secret garden lets you do that if that's actually the case. Should be able to rotate you again. I mean, we have like a lot of backup levers then. No. But this is the one we've already had. This doesn't actually help us. Orindia, so... Yeah, this is the exact one that we already have. The Metropolitan, the 3 rows, and the black border. So we can't actually open all the sides. We can only open 2 of them. Still interesting that we have the option here. I'm going to open like all of the doors while I'm at it. We do have the code check though. The issue is I kind of want to use the burning glass as well, but if I can't get the vault, then I can at least continue next time using the key. Let's use the billiard room. And we should probably do that puzzle as well, just because I still need to do that for the trophy. So 6, 13, this is yellow is again the negatives, right? Like just subtraction. So 3 times 3 should be 9. Okay, 10 divided by 1 is 10, 3, 6, 18, 2, 3, 35, 6. And now that I've realized that the colors, I actually have to pay too attention to colors and they are not always in the same order, it's a lot easier again, right? And since I have so many keys, I'm just gonna open all of the doors in here. I don't know if that does anything. I know that there are some items in here, but otherwise, I mean, I have the red lever already. What happens if I use both at the same time? Is it just like a flip? Okay, yeah, it's an XOR gate. That does make sense, so let's flip you up again. And the last door, does it do anything to us? Oh wait, it's not the last one, this is the last one. I already checked if I can use the lock pick, but I can't. They're just items, okay, and the pictures. Huh. I guess that's just it. There's like no extra secret for opening all of the doors. I mean, you know, I don't know what I expected. I just had hoped, you know. Look at all this. Oh wait, that makes sense. Wait a second. Seriously? The thing that we are doing in the with the bonus effect. That's a spread effect, which means they all land over here, as well as the fruits. Look at all those fruits that we got from the secret garden. I hadn't really thought about that, but it makes sense, you know? You know, jackhammer would have been really useful today, but I don't know, again, I feel like breaking open walls is probably a more permanent buff. I mean, the antechamber is open. I've never tried to open the door from over here. Oh, basement key is back, because obviously we haven't got that one stored anymore, so it makes sense that it returns. And the observatory for the very end. Obviously, smart choice to have that one at the very end. And yeah, more gems that I can't use. I mean, the last room could, like, if I get the freezer as the last room, that would be kind of nice, actually. Wait a second. I have the kennel. I just dug up some stuff in here, and the door's still locked. That is so weird. Guess I'm just gonna use a key then. And the drawing room to have like one last chance at the vault. The clock tower. I don't have like a lot of rooms here, but now the question is, do I just take the lock? I mean, I do have the code check. So that's actually not too bad to take the clock tower here, because I can just leave the key in there, and I should be more likely to get that one in a good run. I'm gonna take the clock tower just because it's a new room. Ooh, yeah, definitely clock tower. Same, no wait. Yeah, it's the same time if I look like this, because this is like the same time that's like kind of depicted below the globes each time. Which is interesting. I only have like one. No, wait, I have 2 tomorrow rooms, so I'm gonna get like 2 keys. Because, no, wait, 3? Technically, that's the same effect, right? Yeah. The code check, I do have the morning room as well. So I'm getting like 3 keys tomorrow, which is a decent start for the next episode. But let's first figure out what this whole thing is all about, because we can still go up, you know? Maybe there's like a wall I can smash in. Ooh. A piece of the puzzle. Southward I see a swan, ashen like sands of the shore, carried by westward winds, rogue like the moon of the north. Eastward I see a crow, dark are the days coming forth. And we have this one. Flowers and white? Is that white? Like, is it actually white, or is it the color? Wait, I have my notes for that one. The symbolism in here means violet. Okay, because we have like the dashes that go like up, down, and then the next one go side to side. So it's a violet and flowers. Only issue obviously is that we don't know about what that means. Also, all this clinking and clanking. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, we can look outside. It's like a really high place. We rarely get like the chance to really look outside. You can see like the entire estate from up here. Kind of. Would be nicer if we could get like a little bit closer, but since the estate is also completely filled again. This is, by the way, the second time I managed to fill every single room. Oh! This is obviously a chess piece that was still missing. That's nice. Can't do anything. Just sounds kind of weird. I mean, I can't really, you know, crush myself in those gears. It's not that kind of game. It's fine, but I feel like... Is there anything new in here? Because obviously we have like this piece that's like a good piece of information, but otherwise I feel like we didn't really get a lot. Maybe I'm missing something really obvious. Maybe this is also just like a small room, which is, by the way, also fine. Right, like not everything must be like the biggest of reveals. Also, I can't go here on the side, otherwise I would have tried to smack open that piece. Anyway, I guess just minor bits of information. And we're getting more keys tomorrow, which is also fine. And I have it like in my notes if I need the sigil at some point, but I don't know about like the roads in there, so yeah. Also, I'm just gonna assume that this is the symbol of the clock tower. Now the question is, why is this like everywhere? Can I find a globe real quick so I can complain about that on screen? I don't think so, but we are now connected to the greenhouse, so let's go over there real quick after I dig up some stuff. I kind of avoided digging up a lot of stuff because I wanted to do something with a contraption here. But alas, it didn't really work out. And smacking the wall. Do I just get like a new door? Like as a permanent upgrade to the greenhouse, that wouldn't be too bad, but it's actually something else. Ooh. Is that the original Gardener's Logbook? Yeah, it's the original one. No, wait, Foreman? No, I read Foreman there, it's February. I'm gonna look at it in just a second. I have to dig up some spots first. It's important, okay? Really important. Also, there's a gem here that makes sense. I don't need those gems, but I feel like kind of bad if I didn't try to at least dig up everything. Also, letters at EO code. Huh. There's correspondence envelopes. Those are the red ones. Okay. Well, let's read. She loves me not. She loves me not. The original Gardener's Logbook. February 1990, when I get fired. Ah, yes. Wait, does that mean... Like, I'm assuming that this is the original, so it's probably the one they talked about the old groundskeeper who got fired. So I'm guessing this is the one they're talking about. And there was like the question why there wasn't like a notebook about that or like a groundskeeper book. This is a record of my many indiscretions and lapses of judgment. Should this logbook ever be found, now that my guilt is exceeded only by my failings. Oh, by Danny, yeah. They are the ones that was, yeah, no longer employed because they thought they stole the Baron's mail. Former groundskeeper and terminated on the 20th of March in some year, and they lived in the hovel. As the groundskeeper of a vast estate, it is my responsibility to ensure the property remains well maintained and beautiful all year round. From the many green rooms of the manor to the sprawling lawns, it is my duty to attend to every aspect of the grounds, ensuring they are orderly, presentable, and accessible so that they may be appreciated by both guests and the family. That would be the day. This logbook, many years overdue, will serve as a record of some of my duties, discoveries, and contributions I have made to the estate over the many years I have served here as the groundskeeper, and however many more yet to come. Not many, apparently. Look at the flower over there that grows gems. It's probably the one that we are seeing on the side. February 1990. A few months ago, I made a truly remarkable discovery in my role of Mount Holly's horticulturist. Through years of breeding and experimentation, I successfully created a new species of flower with a fruit that resembles a gemstone in every detail. Although the fruit is not edible, it is nevertheless a marvel of nature, possessing all the beauty and brilliance of a genuine jewel, but with the added benefit of being entirely organic. Despite the creation of this flower being my proudest accomplishment to date, my joy was slightly curbed when I was informed that by Randolph Moore that my employer's company Sinclair had decided to deny my request to announce my discovery to the public, completely disregarding my years of hard work and dedication to this project. This decision was absolute rubbish. I've poured my heart and soul into this project, investing countless hours of research and experimentation to create something truly extraordinary. I feel this flower has the potential to make a significant impact on the field of horticulture, and it feels like such a waste to keep a gem like this hidden away for, quote, further research. As I suspected, they wanted the flower to serve primarily as a cheap way to produce resources for special floor plans. Wait, this is quite a gap in there. I mean, they did say that it was like a late, note about that. I had high hopes for this logbook, but I've struggled to find a reason to add another entry. My employer's decision earlier this year left me feeling disheartened, and I find it difficult to find the motivation to continue in my work. I'm aware that my disappointment is affecting my performance, and I am reminded of that daily when I see the houseplants slowly dying as I make my rounds. Perhaps I should quit. I really should have. And this is again a few months later, January 8th. My ambition has been reignited. I overheard, perhaps with some prodding, that the employee contracts for the staff are kept within the Baron's private office on the 10th rank. So it is the private Baron's office on the 10th rank, okay. a fact that I found quite remarkable considering that the house only has 9 ranks. This all but confirms the long-held suspicion that the rumored 46th room is in fact north of the antechamber, a suspicion that I had always considered too obvious to be plausible. As much as I wish to abandon all pretense of caring about my job to focus on this new project, I fear I must resume my gardening duties for the sake of appearances. It has, after all, been a long time since the north side of the house has received the groundkeeper's undivided attention. Let's trim the hedges and see what we find. Oh! Secret Garden Mechanarium is the second one. The Great Hall, Secret Garden the sealed one, yeah. And the weight... Oh yeah, the weight room also has like a wall that I can break, right? So I need the sledgehammer again. If there's a 10th rank... Wait, it's actually quite close. It's like 3 days later. There might have been like a weekend in between. If there's a 10th rank, it is possible to perceive its existence from the outside. So if it does exist, then I'm going to assume that reaching it can only be done through the antechamber. Sadly, security has only got tighter in the years after Mary's disappearance, and that room is no longer locked behind regular doors that can be opened by regular keys. No, that would be too easy. Instead, the Baron had remote access levers installed in several different rooms of the house. Funny enough, I already know the location of 3 of those levers, as one was recently installed in the greenhouse and another 2 were installed in the secret garden. It's almost like they were choosing green rooms just to tempt me. Antechamber levels location, which also means like originally I thought like if he filled the Mechanarium we might be able to like open all of the rooms if you get like multiple, like the Mechanarium obviously has like up to 8 rooms. I thought, or like doors, which is why I thought that would make sense. Now the question is, what is behind the other 3 doors that I don't know about? Obviously 4 of the doors are just regular doors, but one of them is the key of the Mechanarium, right? Like the left side basically. So yeah. It appears each antechamber door has 1 primary access lever in addition to a redundancy in another location. Interesting. March 10th. 1991. Received in January after a deal in Reddington fell through. Huh. Although these past few months of exploration have yet to yield the fruit I seek. Oh yeah, it's 2 months. Although these past few months of exploration have yet to yield the fruit I seek, I have in that time gained a much greater mastery of this state and have stolen many glimpses behind the black curtain that veils her many secrets. Among the more exciting of my recent finds was the discovery of a hidden chamber in one of the outer rooms, sealed shut behind a false wall. The stale quality of the air and the unmistakable aroma of corroded metal led me to believe that this chamber remained sealed for many decades. Within it I found a large bed and a copper still. Their time-worn surface is streaked with creeping veins of oxidation and rust. Wait. Hinge on outer rooms. Which outer room? Are they talking about... They're not talking about like the one in the West Garden, right? I'm gonna have to think about that for a little bit. Which outer room would have a wall I can smash through? I'm unsure if these instruments can be restored to work condition, but if they can, I may yet find a use for the sugar beets and potato stores rotting away in the root cellar. I mean, it could be in like one of those. Yeah. Ooh, Sinclair's Inner Sanctum. We've seen that one. August 4th. At last, I finally discovered the location of one of the north levers. It is deep underground in a location so far removed from any of the estate's plant life that I had been discovered. Wait. Not that I had discovered, but wait. Let me reread that one. It is deep underground in a location so far removed from any of the estate's plant life that had I been discovered, I would have been completely vulnerable without any excuse but curiosity to offer to my captor. As anxious as I was to pull it, I have decided to wait until the Baron is away, as it reduces the risk of being caught significantly. And once he leaves, I don't think that a delay in returning will be too hard to engineer now that Christoph is under my thumb and beholden to do whatever I command. So Christoph yeah. That kind of explains things. Why is he under your control though? Because we did hear about like complaints that he was not available at certain times. Okay. August 15th, so like 11 days later? Well, there's no turning back now. After finally reaching the objective I had been working towards for the last 4 months, I made an impulsive decision in the heat of the moment and took more than just my contract. Wait, and took more than just my contract? I found something that I knew could give me the chance to make back some of the money I felt I was owed to me, and I grabbed the opportunity without really considering the consequences. Given that there is now only one missing file in the staff contracts, I've unwittingly left an incriminating trail leading directly back to me. My only hope is that they consider it too obvious to be plausible. I'm always positive that I'm not going to get away with it, but at this point, I feel I owe it to myself to get what's coming to me, one way or another. There was the Alzara talk to us that like somebody came into the estate and stole an item. This is probably this item they stole about, so it's not a future site that we had heard about. It was an event of the past, apparently. Assuming that this is actually the same one. Okay, this is also the last one, which makes sense because you left. Wait a second. There's now only one missing file in the staff contract. Why did you need your own staff contract, though? I'm gonna have to think about this at some point. Okay, you were disheartened obviously by your project being shut down, so you kind of got obsessed with this stuff instead. We see it in January after the deal in Reddington fell through. So you probably came back in between to make like those red notes. I'm guessing, because like obviously you wrote that first, right? Like all of the rest is like really cleanly written, and then this is just like notations later on. I don't know what this is about though. Can I break open a wall in the root cellar? Now the question is, do I want the vault key in the code check, or do I want the sledgehammer? Because this is going to vastly change how I am interacting with items in the future. That's the one that... Wait, do we have a second treasure map? When did I pick that one up? No, wait, this is the exact one that I ordered already. For some reason I thought I had something on the right, but no, it's the one in the greenhouse. We just keep the map for some reason. Okay, that is actually a big question now. I mean, I can get some money real quick, but like otherwise I feel like there isn't much to do here except for deciding what I want to do. By the way, secret passage, do you have like something that I can break here? No. And before I forget, wait. I've seen them before, but I'm gonna, I'm gonna do it in editing. I need all of those letters because something was like cut out and I need to figure out what they were writing. I'm also wondering if the tomb has like a lot of places that I can break. It feels like one of those places where it would make sense that I can break open a wall. But maybe let's first go outside. I just noticed that there's technically a door also. The path ends here. I've never really paid attention to this, but the path ends here. And like it gets kind of stopped, but it continues. This is so broke. Normally there's like a proper road here. Why is this looking like that? This is really unnatural. Like normally you have like a proper road in here, right? I can't see like a road over there, right? Is there something? Maybe because of the patio that something broke? I'm gonna explore the outside for a bit. Oh, a rock without collision. It happens. I'm gonna explore the side here a little bit, because I'm curious if I can find some wall I can break. I don't think it's going to be on the estate. I'm guessing it's going to be like an additional room on the outside that is going to be important, where I can like break a wall. I don't think it's going to be in here. It's probably going to be, I don't know, a shrine or something. What else? Like the root cellar maybe? And we do know that the weight room has like a hidden door. That means that we definitely want the weight room at some point. Look at all those spots that I can dig in. Let's see if that actually does something. I mean, we have the kennel, but the kennel it seems to have broken at some point. I don't know if there's like just a limit on that, because when I did that, I didn't actually hear the sound in like one of the rooms. Like one of the rooms I actually had to unlock myself. It was the foundation. So that's kind of curious, to say the least. Also, I should be opening some of the lockers downstairs because I have like a bunch of keys still left. I don't think there were like any keys in the commissary. Okay, there's actually no breakable wall here. I just had to check, you know, while I had the opportunity. Huh? Where are the dogs? Is that the limit on how many... Huh? 2 of the dogs are missing. Is that because I opened a bunch of doors somehow? There's like a breakable wall here, right? Yeah, no, there's also wood. And I feel like they're kind of explicit about it having to be a brick wall. I mean, I do hear some barking, but I'm guessing it's just one of you. You don't seem to... No! Why are they in... Where are they gone? Did I break something? Ooh, also food. Look at that. I don't have the boiler room, but let's get those steps in. Countryside stew pie. It's very boiled. Very delicious. Now the question is there actually a bridge here that we can see? Like, I could imagine the bandits to actually live down there somehow, but it would imply that there should be a bridge here. It's kind of hard to see in the darkness, but I don't think that there is one here. Like either case. Like maybe down that direction? I don't think that's a bridge. I feel like that's just like part of the ledge there. If it is, we probably would have to check it out in the light of day. Okay, now let's see what the cover puzzle down here has to offer for us. We still have like 9 keys. How many more boxes do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're actually kind of close to just being able to open every one of those. This one should be a green note. That's a lie. I'm gonna open like all of them. I have like so many keys, right? Like it doesn't actually matter that much. Green memos are lies. So okay, the green memos in the are both lies. So those both are lies, but like they're not generally lies. They're probably truths generally, except for this one. We still want the sanctum key somewhere. We do know that we already had the allowance, which can't be in a moon box, but otherwise. This is still talking about allowance. I'm just going, again, like I have like most of the keys already. Only one blue box in the water contains a memo with a true statement. This is this one then. Because we already have a false statement in there. Green memos and blue boxes are true. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like there should be like 1 or 2 more down there. So probably like next run, if I have like another good run like this one, I can probably just open everything. The sanctum key is not in a box in the water. Yeah, I could have told you that already. Why not try this one? So suspiciously here. This box contains a sanctum key. I guess we can just open another. This is such a massive run, right? Like I've been recording for 2 hours already. You're probably seeing like 90 minutes of it. Do I want to... I probably still want to use all the rest of the keys here, right? Like just to see if there's something else. White. Okay, we already have that one. Just because I can't use the keys anyway. And this still kind of bothers me. I don't know if this is like an opening in the wall. If that is the case, then, you know, I'm not going to complain. Sanctum key is in a black box. Yeah, this is kind of a black box. So that makes sense. And you're telling me sanctum key is in a white box? Huh? Are there multiple? This would be the last one of the white boxes. I'm gonna have to check that one out next time. I would be surprised if there are like multiple sanctum keys, but this is a green memo. Green memos generally are true. Unless they are always, like, maybe green memos just can be true. I mean, we've definitely had like a lot of exceptions in there, but like if nothing is explicitly stated, I would have expected as much. Anyway, sanctum. And here's the thing about like today's sanctum key. I do believe that I won't be able to solve that one. I am quite sure of it because it would be like a lot of trial and error mostly. For the whole reason that I don't actually know too many other symbols, and it's quite likely that I'm going to pick one that doesn't actually help us. You know what? I forgot one thing. I'm going to also open this lever. I have like most of the doors open now. Except the one in the south, but I don't really care about that. I want to see what happens if I reach rank 10 again. But first, let's look at the Sanctum key. Yeah. We're going to have to open all of them at some point anyway, so why not continue on the left? Oh! We have like most of the pieces for fan areas, right? Did I ever write down the full sigil? I did. Okay. This is actually interesting because it's kind of rotated differently on my notes, but let's start. I need the mountains. Those are the mountains, but technically there are more, but that doesn't actually matter right now. We need fog again. There's fog, but the count is wrong. We have 4 roads and 2 mountains each, and now we also need the squiggly lines. Those are not the right squiggly lines. It's still not the right... those ones. You know, I lied. I guess this one was easy. Okay. Look at that. Good old Capitol building. The miniature, also the cannons, neat. And this is the fan area stamp that we already have. Fen Auras. The Royal Museum of the Grand City of Fen. Oh, that's probably why it's called that, okay. I'm actually writing this last postcard sitting at my desk at home. I suppose I should put forth the extra effort and drop it in the mail for consistency, but I'm tempted to save the postmaster trip as it will just wind up here again to join the other 7, which I'm pleased to report were all waiting for me at my desk, safe as can be. Flipping through them has reminded me of the many friends I made and lessons learned along the way, and as I look back, one truth shines brighter than the others. Air travel is much better than sea travel. Okay, Herbert. Now the question is, when, by the way, did you go on your trip? I don't remember if there was like something. This is like the last one that you returned here, which makes sense. And you're also talking about... Yeah, you did like a slow travel, right? Like, it kind of makes sense that you're taking a ship then. But I don't think that this one was like a big revelation here. But this is the capital, I'm assuming. It looks very imposing and very red, so I would assume as much. Why is there like a blue flag in there? This is interesting. Like both that it's just like so out of place and also that it's blue. Because like blue seems to be so important. Why is it there? I'm not sure. I'm gonna do the puzzle instead. Mora J-Box, the Fan Ares variation. At the end of the War of the 5th area, not area, but era, after the Grand Realm of Fan Ares was established, Mora J-Boxes of the realm were graced with red tiles in honor of General Teskin's victory. When the tiles are pressed, all black tiles on the box are turned red, in triumphant victory, while all white tiles on the box turn black, serving as the outclassed and struggling reinforcement of the Drinking Desolate's army. Okay, let's try. Red turns all red, okay. What color do we want? We probably want the red, right? Yeah. Okay, but that doesn't actually help us here. Okay, what does green do? Is it probably? It's probably like similar to before, where like white. Okay, no, white just turns gray for some reason. Green doesn't seem to do anything. Orange doesn't seem to do anything. The black. Oh yeah, if black flips this around, right? And green. Okay, it's the same roots as we had before. So green flips over. Orange goes. What does orange do though? How did this just turn? Okay. Wait a second. No. Is it now black? What's the black tile doing? I mean, I can flip you around. I shouldn't have done that. No, this is... I don't know why this turned around. Probably I should have learned like all of the other lessons first. I don't know what the white, like the gray tiles are doing. But I don't actually need all of those technically. The only issue is that I need the positioning. Okay. I can create 4 of those tiles. Wait, I can create 2 like this, and somehow I managed to create the other ones previously as well. This one turns gray. But we want them to turn red, so I actually want to do that. Okay, wait. Let's reset that. I don't want to touch the white one, because the white one is going to turn black later on. But I can use you to rotate around. Okay. If I move you here... No, wait. Wrong click. Return, okay. Black one over here. I can flip you to the other side. Now I have like the gray ones here. But I want this one... No, wait, I want the white one over here. And now I can have the black one over here. But this doesn't actually do anything. Now you turn red. Why is only one of them turning red? Why are you turning red? Is it because there are like 2 red colors next to you somehow? It might be. Okay, but I got like most of it. Okay. Let's try this again. You need at least 2 red next to you to turn red. I can basically only move stuff around if I press the black one in the beginning, so this is probably important. I want to flip you around. Do I though? Yeah, because I can move you around. This one's going to turn red at some point. Flip you around. I mean, I can put you here to flip you back, but why would I do that? I kind of want to move the middle one here. That's like my issue currently. And I don't know... Wait, let's reset. How do I move you though? Like the orange ones don't really do a lot. I can't really turn you green or anything. I can just flip those 2. And the orange ones. I need to get the orange ones in the corner, which I can't really do. Right, like I can flip around here. That's fine. I can move the white into this direction. And now I have the black over here to get like 1 into the right position at least. But it doesn't really help, right? Because if I do this, for example, then we have like the black over here and I can move you around. Like here, for example. You can kind of aim, but like that doesn't really help too much. You can flip the gray over. And obviously those don't really do anything here. And it's like red now, so this is red. I am not sure how I'm supposed to solve this yet. I'm gonna probably take like 5 more minutes or so, at least. Wait a second, you're flipping with the gray one on the side? How is that working? Oh, wait, white and gray flip colors probably, right? So my goal is to actually get more grays next to you. No, wait, it doesn't actually work the way I'd hoped. If I press U, you're only going... Oh, wait, I can flip you now. Okay, now I have 2 reds over there. Okay. Now, question is, how do I get the other ones into the corner? I mean, now you're up there, that's fine. I should not have clicked you. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, I feel like I kind of understand what I want to do though. I want to definitely turn both of the gray ones around. How do I do this best? How did I do it previously? Did I do it like this? No, wait, I need a black one here still. Okay, how did I do it last time? I want to move you around, so now I have the gray here. Then I need to get rid of the black one somehow. Because I can use you to move you around. Like this, okay. Then I can move you around and have like two future red ones here. Okay. The issue is still, I don't know how to move the orange ones up here because I still need one more at the end here, right? Like I can move you around, for example, that's fine, and have like red, red. I can turn you red, but I can't get you out of that corner. That's like my issue currently. It's like quite a conundrum actually. Because like you can only like go this direction. That's like the issue I'm currently facing. If I press you once... Oh wait, no. I forgot to flip stuff around first. Let's try this again. I should remember how I'm doing this, by the way, but I don't. This is probably much of a me issue, I would assume. But that doesn't change the fact that I am kind of struggling at times. Okay. We have both of you over there. Now we have two white ones. The gray one, clicking the gray one does nothing. It literally is just, if I have a white one next to you, I can turn you white. So those two will become red, and those two I can also turn red. I just can't get you into the corner. I can move you around. But just because of the layout, I mean, you can flip you back. Don't know why I would want to do that. Like I can't reach those two spaces, so I don't know why I can turn them into another color. Unless you just turn to the color. I'm gonna have to try that. Wait, how am I doing this best? If I press you now? Now you turn white, okay. So I can actually change the color of all of them. So you just take up the color of the closest symbols to you. And I think if I turn you white, then this works. Okay. I just saw it like kind of unfolding in my head. 2 more money! Yes, I love it. I mean, this is the second one. Can't actually smash anything open, but this is probably like... Okay, here's the reason why I was wondering when the whole thing happened. So, we obviously know that Sinclair kinda, you know... How do you put it? Followed the wishes of the royalist class and stuff. Did that happen before, like when Mary disappeared? Does that happen before those? Right? Like, maybe this is like kind of a... Like, he traveled around and then finally changed his mind a little bit. Because we do know that he was kind of a recluse before Mary came back into his life. So maybe this is like a change that happened, right? Like, he made her disappear a little bit or helped her out. I don't know how willful that was. And then afterwards he went through all of the different nations and decided that, hey, maybe I could change myself. Is that part of the truth? I don't know. Right, like we have seen Herbert in mostly a positive light most of the time due to him being our uncle, and like most of the reports we get about him like are like by him and his staff, right? They probably don't have like too many negative words to say about him, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. I feel like it's going to unravel a little bit more once we finish like the other different symbols here. Gonna have to check out the stamps again at some point just to make sure that there isn't like another symbol on there that I should be paying attention to. By the way, this is the one that I mentioned. Maybe if I have the pump room I can actually open this one, because there was like talk about like a crane and stuff. And I don't know what this tunnel is about, because obviously it's filled in actually. It's not like it didn't break, like the ceiling didn't break in. It is literally filled up with rubble, because otherwise obviously the ceiling wouldn't seem as clean, I'm gonna call it. Okay, let's look down there. Can I see a bridge from here? I don't think I can. Even that far down. Like, we just know that it's like near here, but not necessarily exactly here, right? Like the black bridge I'm talking about. Anyway, let me check in. I kind of want to check at the sledgehammer now. Like, I'm going to regret this, like the next time I get the vault, because I never get those at the same time. Maybe I really have to use, you know, more to solve this puzzle, but I don't know. I just want the sledgehammer again in case I get the different other outside rooms. Also, this looks like a face. I know, I'm just seeing a face here. Kind of missing like an eye, but like really sad smiley kind of. But hey, I'm just thinking out loud sometimes. Oh no, I'm getting squishy again. No. Oh no, the squishing. I feel like the burning glass is also kind of annoying, but I feel like, yeah, I want to check an item. Here's the thing, most of those items I can kind of find like another way to use them, like vault key. Okay, vault key is kind of annoying. I want the vault key, but I can't get it with this power hammer as well. But power hammer is like 3 items in one. Vault key I'm getting like all the time. Like, the issue is just I'm not getting that one whenever I, you know, I need it. Because I find the vault. But still, like the power hammer I feel like has like more uses, which is why I like it. And it seems like there are at least 1 or 2 more walls I can break down, like the gym, for example, as well as something outside. Anyway, before I end this episode, I'm gonna do the thing that I actually wanted to check out again. I wanna see what happens if I open this room again. Room 46. We can actually enter it this time. Okay. 8 realms in 8 months. Okay, they're kind of helping us. 8 is here. You can probably just put them wherever, but this is obviously 8. I need to figure out where the other place... Didn't you just go south in the beginning? Oh, you said something in the ladder. Okay, so it makes sense to actually go here again. Marigold, okay. Jones. Kind of missing, you know, a little statue there. I hope I can't Sinclair. Okay. And Epson. Ah, okay. Interesting. So Mary is just missing in here. The card. It's a message. The secret room is not as secure as you thought. We have your letters. 8 letters, 1 payment. 100 gold. Instructions to follow. Okay, we have to pay. There is more! What the heck? The first key found here on the furthest rank. The second locked tight in the vault of a bank. The third is high up among all the clocks. And the fourth down below, beneath all the docks. The fifth is held by a king on his throne. The sixth in a station left by one of your own. The seventh is a major if you drafted quite late. And the last key is waiting behind the last door of 8. Oh, they're actually now telling me about this. Also, I want to check it out here. Like, can I look outside? So we have to revisit the clock tower again. Good thing that we have that one. I just don't know what to do with the clock tower. Also, those are like all the RAM symbols. I feel like I've written all of them down, right? Any of them missing? Yeah, that one. The diamond. Yeah, okay. The crown? Okay, the crown of the blueprints. The former ruby crown of Orinda Arias, recently set with freshly cut sapphires. The first time you draw a red room while drafting, you may remove it from today's draft pool. If you do, gain one and redraw floor plans. Is that like a permanent upgrade or just for today? Because it's kind of a troll that I have to do this twice. Why is this blinking? Oh, because this is where I currently am. I'm like above here. Okay, I guess this is not the end of the thing here then. Okay, so the first key found here on the furthest rank. This is the one that we have just found. Second locked titan vault of a bank. This is one of the vault keys that I need. Still not any luck with that one. Third one's a clock tower. Fourth one down below beneath all the docks. We have gotten that one. The fifth one is held by the king on his throne. Okay, here's the thing. And it sounds like maybe weird. Unless there's actually a throne room. I feel like this is actually the one in the drafting room. Because it's like the chair that was there was like so much importance put on there. The sixth in a station left by one of your own. Which station? The seventh is major if you drafted quite late. We do know about like one place where they're actually talking about a major key. Didn't I? Right, like the music room? Did I? I didn't get a sanctum key in there, right? I hope I didn't. I never got, but I feel like that would make sense. So this is another puzzle. Okay, so now I actually have like more goals again. I really like this. Like I was kind of aimless for some time. Okay, this obviously we do know who sent this one because we've still seen the things. Instruction to follow. That's like the thing that I'm kind of confused about. Because I have like so much money here. Obviously not right now, but I'm guessing I can buy this one later on. The last letter. Maybe if I find like all the other letters first. Which makes sense why like the 8th letter was missing. Ooh, now it all kind of works out here. Is this actually the right time? Doesn't seem like it is. Because you're also stuck, but you're also stuck at the same time, which is something interesting. Which is also, by the way, the same angle that we have with all of the globes. Like, roughly. Because, like, all of these watches just kind of stopped in the same position. Ooh, now I'm curious. Also, what's up with, like, this fireplace? There's, like, nothing in there. I can't open it. Huh. I mean, I still have, like, stuff to do, I guess. First of all, the clock tower, which is, like, right next to here. What do you want from me here? I'm guessing there's, like, some puzzle in here, and I don't know about what's going on. Chess piece. Right, I only have, like, one sanctum key. I am not crazy and got, like, a second one and I completely forgot about it. There's like a little swan, but why? What am I supposed to do here? What can I see? Is the time at least correct? It's at least the same. No, it's not the same everywhere. This one has a different time to those ones. Why are you broken? Why can't I get closer to any of those places? There's a puzzle here and I'm probably just not seeing it. It obviously bothers me a little bit. Just a teensy tiny bit. You're swaying left to right. Like the pendulum you are. I don't think that anything is breakable down here, right? And you're showing this direction, but you're also showing this direction. Why are you showing this direction? There's like nothing in there. And this is, by the way, also the other thing that I've talked about. I cannot light this because Wait, I did bring the item though, right? I did bring the burning glass because I had to bring that one with me. Can't light anything in here. This is what the time actually says. There's just like the drafting stuff. Where would the king hang out? Oh, I hate it. There's too much to do. Oh, and this episode is already running so long. Even like edited down, it's probably still one of the longer episodes. Okay, I'm seeing the issue. You are just not connected. Something's off with that gear, but I can't actually reach you. Even if I had like a replacement gear, how would I reach you? Why is it so important? Like the time seems to be important, but how do I... Do I have to be here at exactly that time? That like all of them are the same? Could anything open in here? That's like my whole theory here. I might actually wait around then at the end. I still have like a bunch of steps, so I'm gonna go downstairs again. But just in case, I'm going to try this one later on, like after I'm done with like the next sanctum key. I'm gonna at least use it. I will probably not be able to figure out the symbolism that I need. But it's, you know, important. Like, I am very happy that I checked room 46 because, like, it seemed like a place where I just go to get, like, this little cutscene, basically. Also, while I'm at it, let's check out, like, this postcard. 8 rams. The objective was simple enough. What order? What road? Where to start? Questions like these are the ones I tend to ignore, as planning has never been... I have departed above plan. That's happened. The road takes me south. So, it's, yeah, it is directly south. I did remember that right. Also, we could have just checked out the geography classroom again. Had to actually figure it out. Anyway, sanctum key. Apparently there's also a key inside of here at some point. I have not seen this one, by the way. Oh, wait. I was not paying attention to the mountain. I was paying attention to the weird star symbol now. Do I know about the mountain? I don't think so. No, those are not the right ones. I don't think I do. So I'm going to leave this one for today. Which is, by the way, fine. We've solved like so much today. Unless... Wait. It's probably not this one. I have one... Probably not, right? Like, I have one where I have everything except for the centerpiece. And I have a theory that it's going to be like the weird puzzle piece, I'm gonna call it, right? Like this, like half a puzzle piece. We have like the knob on top. Or technically in like the bottom right, because that's like how the alignment was. But I don't think it is going to be this one. But we can see what happens if I get it wrong, so why not? Let's just try it. So, worst case, you know, worst that she can say is no or whatever. And by she, I mean this vault. Okay, it's this one. We have squiggly lines. I don't know how many, but it seems like there are multiple. Also, I'm still not sure how I sometimes hit like multiple of them at the same time. I should have probably paid attention to what I'm getting here. It's those squiggly lines, I think. It's... not those symbols. It's the weird plus sign with the dots inside of it. Can I get that one here? I just saw it, but it's this one. I don't know how many it would be though. The outside I have to fix in a moment. It's at least... It could be those many. It seems like it was always like one and then a squiggly line like this. It would be the... is it this one? It should be this one. Oh. I wanted... Well, I just broke everything. Let's try this again. I'm going to spin you around. Noises, please. I don't know why I'm sometimes targeting multiple and sometimes not. It worked so well earlier. This seems to be the right one. And again, I'm gonna do this and carefully click the right symbol, or like the button in the middle now. It's probably going to be the wrong one. Yeah, assumed as much. But this is basically a symbol that exists except for the middle part. I don't know which one it is though. Why is that corner so weird? Are you overlapping with the room next to you again? I mean, it would be quite likely if that's the case, but that's just... Huh? I guess not? Like, I'm guessing it's just like a lighting glitch, but still, that doesn't really change the fact that it's kind of confusing me every single time I see something like that. Right? Like that one episode where I had like a trunk in a corner. This just bothers me so much. Okay. What else can we do today? Before I forget. Oh yeah, clock tower. But otherwise I've already handed in the item in the code check, so it's probably just that then. You know what? I'm going to be completely honest. I already did like a time travel episode once before. How about I don't do that again? Because for some reason originally I thought, oh yeah, it's only like 2 or 3 hours that I have to wait. But no, obviously those are flipped because they're on the outside, which means I would have to wait here for like 12 like in-game hours, which is like still over an hour here. I don't have that kind of time. We've made so much progress today. I am fine leaving it here today. I'm going to check that one out the next time I draw the clock tower, which should still be possible, right? So let's see what happens if I call it a day. Right, last check. Did I bring everything in? Right, like I checked the code check and I am fine. I don't have the sledgehammer here anymore. I have the burning glass. I don't have any major keys. I only have the vault key, and I'm really bothered that I can't store that one as well. But, you know, sometimes choices have to be made. Anyway, let's call it a day. Again, I'm gonna check this one out again the next time I get the clock tower. I just have been recording for like 3 hours already. It's just like one episode, right? It's like one run. So, 25 excavated dig swords and 4 shop rooms. Archaeological shopping center. Ooh, 1 new room, which was the clock tower. Apparently, rank 10 doesn't actually count as a room, even if I'm entering it properly. Also, this looks kind of weird. Why does the left side look so weird? Of the campsite. Have I been too long in the estate? Is everything just kind of bugging out? I don't know. Anyway, this has been a very productive episode. I feel we've seen so much new stuff. It's kind of impressive, even in like such a small run. Again, like the estate still has like a lot of mysteries to be found, basically. And I'm really looking forward to finding like the rest of the mysteries. But again, it's going to probably involve like a lot of drafting, where like every single run I'm just going to find like a few mysteries, but like the whole drafting process isn't like that interesting anymore, which is why I prefer like the current editing style. I'm going to probably finish this game like this. I just feel like this is probably a lot better use of both your and my time. Because editing, again, is like a lot easier if I just can check where I'm talking, basically. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one, and bye-bye.